On the Road with Kelly and Bob is brought to you by Mueller Metal Roofs and Buildings. Made in America, made to last. Coming up on this episode,
our ice cream goes from production to service sometimes within 24 hours. It doesn't travel anywhere. It's made right here on the premises. It goes from downstairs to upstairs, out the door.
Hi, we're Kelly
and Bob Phillips, and we're on the perpetual road trip of America's back roads,
where the journey is always the destination. Hi, and thanks for joining us for this episode of On the Road with Kelly and Bob. I'm Kelly Phillips.
And I'm Bob Phillips. Okay, Kelly, you are a bona fide member of ICLA, right?
ICLA? I don't know about that.
ICLA. Ice Cream Lovers of America. It's a little group I founded some 40 or 50 years ago for people who love ice cream, of course.
ICLA.
Yeah, but moving on, where do you think they consume the most ice cream in America? Somewhere hot, right? Like Texas, Arizona, Nevada?
Well, my friend Mr. Google here says that you are way off. It's the New England states like Rhode Island and Massachusetts.
Well, then this is going to take some more research. Let's just head that way.
And that's all it takes to launch yet another road trip. A rumor, a conversation, even a feeling can send us down another back road in search of good people and good things.
In this case, we were in search of good people and good ice cream. We found both in the Dorchester neighborhood of Boston, Mass.
Dorchester is a neighborhood of Boston. It's very rich in Catholic churches. In Boston, especially Dorchester, you're known as, what church are you from? So we were St. Craig's, which is right down the street here. And anybody that's from Dorchester knows, oh, I'm St. Brennan's, I'm St. Craig's, I'm St. Anne's. Like, you know where you're from by the church that you're from.
And these kids that are behind us,
they are in church school half a block away. So I actually went to that school. It was St. Gregory's School when I went. Right now it's Pope John Paul Academy. But yeah, I went there. My whole family went there. We went to the church across the street. But it's a great community.
We're sitting at the table by the window inside a neighborhood shop in the Dorchester part of Boston, chatting with lifelong resident Chris Skillen.
Chris says things don't tend to change much around here, and people like it that way.
We grew up in a 2-bedroom Cape house in Dorchester, so we were very tight-knit, 4 boys and 1 girl. We played ball down in the park here. We actually came to the store, before we all started working here. Every single one of my siblings has worked at this shop. My grandfather built the house that we all grew up in, moved my mother in, and my mother has never left that house in her whole entire life. He bought the land, built the house, moved her in, and she's been there ever since. Same phone number, same everything.
The bell keeps going off behind us, which means the door is opening and closing and opening and closing. And one thing that surprised me is Massachusetts' consumption of ice cream. Yes,
we consume the most ice cream per capita in the United States. Here in Massachusetts, we love our ice cream.
Welcome to the Ice Creamsmith, a little shop that opened right here in the Lower Mills part of Dorchester back in 1976. They call it Lower Mills because this is where places like the Baker's Chocolate Factory was for decades.
Right next to us is the Baker's Chocolate Factory, which is not a factory anymore, but used to make chocolate back in the day.
Yeah.
And now it's all into condos, but the rich history is still here, and there's still stories about people being like, I could smell the chocolate when they started making it and all that, and it's definitely a good history here. So this shop opened up in 1976, and my father-in-law was unemployed at the time, and he saw a ad in the Boston Globe for some used ice cream equipment and bought it and found this place, started it with him and his neighbor. All that equipment just immediately died on him, but it was like a learning curve, but it was one of those, we can do this, why not,
Did
something
he
fun.
have any
He had
idea?
no experience in the
Okay.
ice cream business or any restaurant business. He went to Northeastern for business, I believe, and then just was having a hard time finding a job and said, why not? Let's do this.
Chris and his wife Sarah grew up working in this little ice cream shop in Boston. He because, well, he needed a job, and she because her father was the owner. Both the job and the relationship were a match made in ice cream parlor heaven.
Well, I grew up right down the street from this shop, actually, about a half a mile away. I'm one of 5. I met my wife working here. I was in high school. This was one of my, probably, I had 3 jobs. I was always working because as one of 5, my father said, if you want something, go ahead. Go rake leaves, go mow the lawn, whatever it was. I came here right when I was able to, when I was 16, and started working here, and I never left.
And eventually, Chris and Sarah took over the family business started by her father.
And in keeping with the way folks around here like things to be, well, they haven't changed much.
So the thing about our shop is because we've been here for 50 years, we don't want to change too much. And that is the thing that keeps us strong.
We went in search of some good ice cream in the part of our country that apparently eats more ice cream than the rest. What we found out was so much more.
We found a family business that's been around for decades, still in the same family. We found a tight-knit community that's been that way forever. And we found a group of people who like some things to just, stay the way they've always been. It's more than we ever hoped to find.
People have been coming in here for years with their kids, and now those kids are coming in with their kids and their grandkids, and it's multi-generational. And the comics on the wall are still the same, and the way we make the ice cream is still the same, and everything is just the way they remember it. It's like stepping back in time here when you come in.
That's part of what ice cream's all about, is it not?
I agree.
This is a comfort zone.
Yep.
To come in here. It's nostalgia. It's all is right with the world. And if you start changing stuff,
You're messing with memories.
That's the real issue. Like, we've done a lot behind the house, with computerizing some stuff, so it makes it easier for us to order product, make the stuff, all that. But the actual product and what you're getting and what you're walking out the door with has been the same ever since we opened.
and the experience.
Yeah.
I walk in the door and it's going to be like if my dad or his dad came in.
Yeah.
Same thing. What does this place mean to you, your wife, your family, her family, the community?
I think it's a family. It's an extension of our family, truthfully. We have customers that come in every single day and get the same exact thing every single day. So you just come in, you say, oh, usual, and then you just start talking about whatever is going on. And if they walk out, they're happy. They understand that it's you and this is your business. They see me scooping. It's not like some faceless corporation where they have no idea who it is. They are excited to talk to you, know what's going on in the neighborhood. They like to have it as a hub to come here and enjoy themselves and talk to everybody,
This all sounds like a little bit of heaven to me.
Yeah, you're invested, they're invested. I mean, what could be better?
I can't imagine.
It's a good life,
We did pretty much this same show on television for many decades, and even though it aired nationwide, it was primarily filmed in and was primarily about Texas and Texans. And all that time, we thought those stories could only be found there.
And we have proved ourselves wrong. We have learned that people are people, no matter where they're from, no matter what they're doing, and no matter where or under what circumstances we meet them. It is a small world, after all.
If you're interested in hearing more about Chris and Sarah Skillen's little Boston shop called the Ice Creamsmith, you can do just that by listening to the rest of our conversation here.
At what point did you and your wife take over ownership?
We took over 11 years ago now. She was pregnant with our second child. We just bought a new house in Milton right down the street, and we bought the business. So we were just digging a hole,
They
you
say
know.
things come in threes.
Exactly. They say if you're going to dig a hole, might as well dig it deep. And we were,
You dug it deep,
we were
didn't you?
going all in. You know? I went to Wentworth for construction management, and I've owned my own construction companies in the past, and I've worked in major construction companies. So I knew that philosophy of, you know, doing it for yourself. And my in-laws were starting to get a little bit older, and they didn't have an exit plan. And I said to my wife, what do you think about us taking it over? Like, you know, it seems like it could be a decent enough. Like, you had a good life, and, you know. And she hemmed and hawed a little bit about it. And with a little persuasion, I got her to agree to it.
Well, why did you want to do that?
I just always liked this, you know, being one of my first jobs. And working in the ice cream business, it's a great experience. 99.9% of people that walk through this door are always happy. You're coming in for a good treat. It's not like you have to go pay your car insurance or, you know, you have to go do this thing. This is a treat for everybody that walks in the door, and everybody's happy about it. So
And are they happier when they walk out the door because of what they got in here?
we think so. Since we've been here for almost 50 years. 50 years next year will be our anniversary.
50 years,
50
of an
years.
ice cream shop.
Yeah, same location, and we make it the same way. We started with this machine here that you're sitting next to.
Yeah.
My father-in-law,
How much does that make, by the way?
that makes 5 gallons of ice cream at a time.
5 gallons.
So we moved everything down to the basement, and now we have a power-driven machine down there. It's an Emery Thompson machine, which is one of the top. You know, they are a great business. They've been around for hundreds of years, I think. So we just actually bought a brand new Emery Thompson last year because our old machine, they stopped producing parts for. And our old machine was over 50 years old because my in-laws bought that used, and we brought it down there, and that made many gallons of ice cream over the past years.
So do you make one flavor at a time in that one machine, or are there multiple
Well,
machines?
we can go through our whole entire list of flavors in a day. It usually takes about 10 to 15 minutes to make one batch of ice cream.
Oh,
So it churns it and it freezes it. Then we throw it into a deep freeze at negative 25 degrees. So you stop all the ice crystals from forming. And then you just keep rolling through the flavors until you're done or until you get tired.
You mentioned ice crystals. How much of a science is there to making
yeah,
ice
I
cream?
always
There-
figured there is.
I never thought of it until I started making it and started realizing what it is. But if you've ever had bad ice cream, you know
Oh, yeah.
what bad ice cream tastes
yeah.
like. It's that really icy ice cream.
Grainy.
Ours is creamy because we stop ice crystals from forming right away. Our ice cream goes from production to service sometimes within 24 hours. It doesn't travel anywhere. It's made right here on the premises. It goes from downstairs to upstairs, out the door. So that is another aspect of this shop that has kept us going for so long, I think, is our ice cream is a great product. And our team that serves it is also great. We take high priority in teaching kids life lessons here. Like, it's my first job. For the most part, it's everybody's first job coming in here. They have no experience to talk to people, especially new kids these days. Like, I want to sound like an old man, but it's always on the phone, and it's always.
They text, they don't talk.
You have to actually physically talk to every single person that comes in the door because you have to find out what they want. There's no machine here that says, I would like a small cone of this.
How do you get over that hump? Because that is that's something different than the way we grew up.
It really is, yeah. Like, we always talk to people. I had no problem when I was training. You had to talk to somebody. But now people are very timid and they're very quiet and shy. And so we put a lot of training into pushing that through. And you have to be loud about it. You have to start talking. You don't know who you're talking to. You could be talking to the next president of the United States. Who knows? Like, there's a lot of people that come in here that have a great backstory. As long as you talk to them and listen to them, it's great.
So what are your employees learning, do you think?
The major skill is communication.
Right.
You have to talk to someone to get that flavor, to get the size, to get whatever's mixed in, all that stuff. And then they're just learning life skills in general, just how to be a good person.
Do you see a difference in them after they've worked here?
I really do. And they actually see a difference in themselves. Because I've had many employees come back and be like, you know what? You always said that this was the job that, like, we're a great employee and all this stuff. Like, they go get a real job and like, you guys were awesome. Like, you taught us well, you treated us well, the skills I learned have passed on, and it's a great mindset going through.
Okay, you said like a real job.
Yeah, this seems like a pretty good
real job.
This is my real job, which is what I tell the kids all the time. When we hire everybody, I say it's a fun job, but it is my career, and this is how I survive and make money for my family.
This is your dream, not
This
theirs.
is my job. This is my career. It's their first-time job. I've been working here since I was 16. I'm now 44. I now am hiring kids that I have been waiting on for years and years. Remember when they were born and remember them coming in, and now I'm interviewing them for their first job. But just understand that this is a serious job, and it's, we're in the health department, so there's also codes and stuff you have to follow that kids don't understand. When you come into an ice cream shop, there's so much behind the scenes that you're not looking at, and it's just great. I'm getting this ice cream, I'm having this cone, I'm walking out the door, but there's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes. So we use 14% milk fat, which is a very high concentrate of milk fat, which makes it that creamy consistency. There is a minimum of 12%, I think, to call it ice cream. So a lot of the times in grocery stores, you think you're buying ice cream, but you're actually buying a frozen dairy dessert.
Milk?
Yes,
Or
it's essentially ice milk, but in fine print. It looks like ice cream, it might taste like ice cream, but it's air, essentially. All of our customers know us. We know a lot of our customers. Sometimes we have no idea what their names are, but we'll know them by, the coffee frap guy came in, or the vanilla with Reese's cup guy came in. So it's, it's funny. We have 12 basic flavors. We don't do a lot of like candy and stuff in there because we are known for our mix-ins. And our mix-ins are the candy. So we take it and we smash it in and we push it in. So you can create your own flavor. So we try to keep our flavors pure, and then you can just keep adding to it and going from there. Make your own flavor. The sky's the limit. You can add whatever you want to it.
What
do
are
the
the
recipes
12?
come from?
So the recipes have been passed on from my in-laws, but we have been experimenting a lot with different flavor combinations. So every Wednesday, myself and my wife had created this thing called One Batch Wednesday, where we make 5 gallons of a special ice cream, whatever we want, and we just sell it until it sells out. So it's a limited edition, and people are getting super excited about it, and we've had flavors all over the place. So my oldest daughter invented a peanut butter, Nutella, banana chip ice cream. And think about all those flavor combinations, and they all come through. So we were sitting at the dinner table, and she said, "You should make a peanut butter ice cream." I said, "That would be great." And she said, "With Nutella and bananas and chocolate chips." And we said, "Actually, that sounds pretty good. Let's try it." And it came out great. And then every month we switch up. We have 3 specials every month. So right now we are on the end of April. We have salted caramel pretzel, lemon custard, and chocolate hazelnut as our specials. And then they switch. So all of our customers know what month their special flavors coming in. They're like, "Oh, I can't wait till May. Here comes black raspberry," or we have a flavor called Dorchester Dirt, which my father-in-law invented. We have a thing called Dorchester Day Parade here, which starts right in front of our shop and heads down Dorchester Ave. And he invented this chocolate ice cream with cookie crumble and mini marshmallows and cinnamon, and people absolutely love it. And it's either you really like it or not for you.
Do you have people give you suggestions for
All the time.
flavors?
All the time. And especially being known in the community, people are not afraid to be like, "Oh, I was in the shop the other day. You know what you should do is you should make this flavor," or
Are there any weird ones that come to mind that people have suggested that maybe aren't makeable?
when we were first doing this One Batch Wednesday, we actually had a suggestion box up there. People would drop stuff in.
Uh-oh.
And that was funny because people would come up with these wackadoo flavors, and someone was just like, "Liquid smoke is just, that's the flavor." And I said, "Okay." And we have sweet cream, vanilla, chocolate chip, chocolate, mocha, coffee, banana, strawberry, something called frozen pudding, which is a rum raisin base. It's not like a chocolate pudding. And then we have maple walnut. Maple walnut is the classic old school flavor.
What do your in-laws think of what y'all have done?
They really appreciate how we kept the store the way it is. They never thought that this was going to be what it is. They were just trying to support their family in a time of, "I don't have a job, let's see what we can do." And the fact that it continued to carry on and carry on and carry on has been great for them. And then when we took it over, I think they were like a little like, are you sure you want to take this over? Do you know how much work it is? But then once we started getting into it, it was great, and I think they really appreciate it. So.
And you've got kids of your own. Do you think they'll eventually come in and take over?
It depends. There's they do like to work every once in a while for some ice cream and a little bit of money, but you know, they're free to do whatever they want. You know, I always tell them, like, you don't have to do this. This is what I'm doing right now, and whatever you guys want to do with your lives will be great.
How long do you think you'll do this?
I think I'm here for the long haul, as long as I can hold up. You know, it's a lot of physical work because we do make all the ice cream, so the buttercream and everything gets delivered here. We got to bring it downstairs. We're constantly up and down, so it takes a toll on your body. I make ice cream every day because we're such a small shop. I can't store that much. So everything is just constantly being made. We count the ice cream every day, and we have to figure out what to make.
Do you ever get tired of eating ice cream?
No, because I only eat a little bit at a time now. I've learned my lesson throughout the years of, you know, going from a large to a small to a junior, and now just a spoonful of 2 is all I need.
What does it mean to you when people come in here and they walk out with a smile on your face? What does it do for you?
It really makes me happy. Like I said, working in construction, at the end result, most of the time, people are happy. But sometimes people are just miserable. But walking out of here, everybody is very happy. They really enjoy getting the ice cream here. And I really enjoy serving it here for sure.
And there's one thing for certain. If you're ever in Dorchester, Massachusetts, and visit the Ice Creamsmith shop, you are sure to leave with a smile on your face. Thanks for listening to this week's edition of On the Road with Kelly and Bob. We sure would appreciate it if you go to our Facebook and Instagram pages and like them. Be sure and follow us on YouTube as well. There's some behind-the-scenes footage where you can follow along. And you can listen wherever you get your podcast. But the best thing to do, download that free Odyssey app. That's AUDACY. It's free, and you can listen anytime, anywhere.